now.
Hey everybody, it's Edie and welcome to Mixed Mediology Monday. Wow, it has been so long since I actually did a talking part of a video. Okay, so let me just catch you up a little bit on what's been going on in my world for the last couple of months. If you remember, I lived in my house with no furniture or anything, and then I moved to Italy because my husband's in the Navy and that's where we got stationed. So I moved to Italy. It took me forever to get my studio finally unpacked and organized. Probably, I think it took me like a month to actually get my studio organized. And then pretty much as soon as I got my studio organized and got ready to start working again and creating videos, my husband got a promotion, and that led to a 6-week initiation period, and it was non-stop bake sales, cookouts, car washes, sewing projects, like crazy busy. And I can't even tell you all the stuff that he had to go through and we had to do as a family. And so it was just a really insane 6 weeks. And then immediately following that was my son's birthday, and then Halloween, and then Thanksgiving. So I had very little time to work in between the time I moved to Italy and Halloween. But then as soon as Halloween got here, they have a festival here called Autumn Fest, and I had a vendor booth there and I got custom orders, and then I was non-stop busy working on the projects. So I actually created 2 videos for 2 different projects, so I actually have things to share now, so yay. And that's what I'm doing today. I actually wanted to share one of the projects today, and then I will share the second project next week. So you can look forward to 2 new Mixed Mediology Monday videos. And now that things have calmed down, I can get back to a much more regular video making, project making schedule. So, I actually had a vendor's table at Autumn Fest. It was my first craft fair, and at that craft fair I had my art displayed, and not only excuse me, was I selling my art, but I was taking custom orders. So one of the things that I had displayed there was my Hocus Pocus Spell Book replica. And you know, I do the full-size one, but for Autumn Fest I actually, here, let me just show you. For Autumn Fest, and you know, so not only do I make the full-size Hocus Pocus Spellbook replica, I also make it in this size, which is a journal. And I had these with me, so I had the peacock one, and I had this really cool skeleton one with like the 3D protruding skeleton, and so I had these with me, and I had a book journal with me, but I also had this. Oh, it came untied, hold on. I mean, I had it untied, but it came undone. Look at it's a book, domino book. Oh my gosh, this thing is so cute. So that's the front cover. I hope it's in focus. Let's see if I can. And don't look at my raggedy fingernails, because I should not be allowed to paint my own fingernails. So that's my Hocus Pocus domino book. And then that's the back cover. And then when you open it up, there's actually 2 different spells inside. Okay, so I had book with me in several different sizes, and I had those other journals with me. And throughout the weekend, people kept coming up and talking about book and the different projects that I make and the different art that I make. People said they wanted to see me do a couple of different books. They'd like to see it, or they would want to order one. And some of the main books that kept coming up were the Book of Shadows from Charmed, the monster book, you know, the one that like attacks Harry Potter, and someone actually wanted me to do the book from Once Upon a Time. So these were some of the books that we talked about and people said that they would like to see me make. And I actually got an order for the Charmed Book of Shadows. So that is the project that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I actually made the Charmed Book of Shadows replica. Now this one started out as an Italian encyclopedia. You can't tell it now because of the techniques that I used on the book, but it was actually an Italian encyclopedia. And then I made it look like leather. I aged it. I added the triquetra. I had to add the binding here and the little corners. I had to add the ribs on the spine. That cover is obviously done like the front cover. Then inside, once you open it up, it's got the painted front page, and then it's got some replica pages from the actual show. Then you go a little bit further back, and there's a secret hidey hole. So I actually carved out the book, and it holds, I actually put my athame in here and it fit, and you could close the book. So it will hold a blade or whatever you want to put in here, money, jewelry, whatever. And then the book pages are actually sealed to the carved part here. These are sealed, they don't open. So you have a nice, sturdy, secure hidey hole. So that is the project for this week, the Charmed Book of Shadows replica. Alright, that is it for today. Hopefully you are all caught up with the recap of where I've been for the last few months. And now it's time to get to the making of the book. Remember, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, my website, pretty much all over the internet. Ooh, I got really shrill there. When you watch the blooper reel, you'll understand why. So yeah, I'm pretty much all over the internet. Just Google me. I know, I'm gonna say it again. You haven't heard it but once. I mean, you haven't heard it at all, but you're getting ready to hear it again. It sounds dirty, but I like saying it anyway. Just Google me. Oh yeah, when you watch the blooper reel, you'll understand why I'm so delirious right now. So yeah, find me on those places and follow me and I'll follow you back. If you like what I do here, then hit that little subscribe button, that way you don't miss anything. And then share it with your friends so that they can hang out with us too. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to order a custom book or custom artwork of any time, please email me at mixedmedieology@gmail.com. mixedmedieology@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye! Hallelujah! I did it! Oh my God! Holy shit! That was the hardest 45 minutes of my fucking day. Oh God. I need a drink. Take 8. Learning the dynamics of this new studio. Like where to sit, where to stand, where to have the camera, how loud to yell. Driving me crazy. Okay. Oh, and the haircut. Yeah, still working out the kinks in that too. Okay, so let me do it one more time. I think that's it. Did a recap. So now you know where I've been for the last couple months. And now it's time for the making of the book. Oh. So this was a really fun project. I had a really good time making this. Don't forget, you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, my website, pretty much everywhere all over the internet. I'm easy to find. Just Google me. And if you like what I do here, don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. And then share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or, you know, all those places that you can share it. Because then more people see it and they hang out with us. Yeah. I don't like that. Oh. There we go. That is it for today. Now that you've had the little recap, you know where I've been for the last couple of months, and it is time to go to the making of the book. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you like what I do, don't forget to hit that little subscribe button, and then you don't miss anything. You don't miss all the crazy antics and the great projects. Then share it with your friends so they can hang out with us too. No! Ah! I'm so out of practice. Ah. One more time. That is, no. There we go. No. Oh my God. Who else does this? Who sits in their room and says the same thing 25 times? Okay. And there you have it. That is all for today. You are caught up, hopefully, with the recap, and now you know where I've been for the last couple of months. And now it's time to get to the making of the book. Remember, you can find me on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my website, pretty much all over the internet. I'm easy to find, just Google me. Sounds so dirty, but I like saying it anyway. So yeah, find me, follow me, hang out, you know, whatever. And then hit the little subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of this. That way you get to still hang out with me. Oh my God, if I fuck this up one more time. I swear, I said it like 30 times. Oh my God. Oh. I think I'm just delirious now. Oh. Good Lord. Okay, that is it for today. Oh God. Oh God. Total blank! Really? What the hell am I supposed to say here? This is why I need a script. This is why I need a script. I'm gonna write a script right now. I'm not writing a script. I don't use a script.